Welcome back to Between Bells, everybody. Cheddar is celebrating Asian Pacific American Heritage Month by having authentic conversations across all of our programming, highlighting the history, culture, and contributions of the community in the U.S. and around the world. We look to discuss diversity within the group with meaningful dialogues around business, politics, tech, entertainment, and much more. Asian Hall of Fame was created to raise public awareness of Asian contributions around the world. The organization puts campaigns and funds into action to help people amid the pandemic and help stop Asian hate. Joining us now is the Asian Hall of Fame CEO, Maki Hsieh. Maki, welcome to the show. It is such a privilege to talk to you. How has the organization taken action to help stop Asian hate that we're seeing around the world?
Thank you so much for having us, and I'm so happy to be on Cheddar with you today. Asian Hall of Fame was created by the Robert Chin Foundation, which was established because Robert Chin saw that there was economic racism against Asians. This was way back in the 60s when redlining prevented Asian families from getting mortgages and small business loans. After a number of decades, the Asian Hall of Fame was established in order to correct the undervaluation of contributions of Asians in the national narrative. And we are not an activism group, we're not an advocacy group, but when Asian hate all around the country and around the world started to escalate, surge, and finally started to murder people, we decided that we needed to galvanize and get everybody together and create lasting impact. One of the things that we did was we took a look at our entire season and we said we need to fundraise for survivors. We need hate crime survivors to feel supported and to have their stories told. They need to quickly get the medical care that they need, the mental health counseling, and they need to have their voices heard. So that was our number one priority, was to support the survivors. The second thing we did was, let's take a look at how to deter violence. What is the root of these hate crimes? I mean, what's the use of having all these millions and millions of dollars of funding that the government has generously released if we still have hate crimes escalating? Let's get to the point where we don't have a single hate crime that we need to report. How do we get there?
Sure. And Maki, I love that you said that, because the Asian Hall of Fame is also causing or asking to increase anti-Asian hate crime penalties, which I think a lot of people do agree with. How do you expect things to change if people are held accountable?
That's the thing is, I'm now speaking as a mother of two kids, and I understand tough on crime is not popular. I understand there are a lot of political issues regarding this. I get it. But as a mom, come on. If my kid is being harassed or beaten up or, God forbid, raped and his car stolen and purse taken, and the guy just walks away with $100 and 2 nights in jail, he comes back again, and time after, again and again, can go back into the streets, that's just not safe. And that's just not American. And we really need to put a stop to this. Let's take a look at what Mothers Against Drunk Driving did. Let's take a look at what other people around the communities in the last couple of decades have done in order to prevent violence and deter crime. You know, some of the things that we were talking about, and that's why the whole forum started this month, is let's talk about how on the prosecutor level, what that looks like, judicial level, what that looks like, legislatively, and even in the community, what that looks like. We're seeing some really amazing things come out of these conversations. For example, one thing you can do is, instead of having body cams on everybody, you can have cameras in high-risk areas like Chinatowns around the country or Japantowns. You know, these kind of community cameras are really effective in deterring crime. And that's very simple, and it's not that expensive. The second thing is, I learned that when an officer captures someone and holds someone accountable, there isn't a box that says possible hate crime. So there's everything else, like assault, murder, etc., but possible hate crime. Add that box on there. Then he checks the box and suddenly it gets expedited through the process. So there are really simple things like this that we want to explore this month through our forums that provide actionable recommendations for lasting change.
Those really are fantastic ideas, Maki. What's so interesting, this season you will donate all the proceeds from the events to stop Asian hate. Can you tell us more about these seasonal events? And I heard there's a virtual tour of some sort.
You know, one of the things that we discovered is that we need allies. We need to really focus on one of the pillars of Asian Hall of Fame, which is cross-cultural collaboration. So we reached out across the aisle. Robbie Krieger is not Asian. He's Jewish. But you know what? He loves making music for great causes. So these are kind of the allies that we need all across the board. I just recently joined Anti-Defamation League as the first Asian executive on the Pacific Northwest Advisory Council. And these are kind of very actionable steps that all of us can take in order to reach lasting change. And one of the things that we looked at in our whole season was, okay, let's fundraise for survivors, but let's keep the programming free. Usually for an Asian Hall of Fame glamorous organization like us, a ticket is $1,000 or $500. Let's keep everything free. And the donations keep everything free to the public. And yes, there is a VIP package for those who want the little gifts and the little swag, yes, but let's keep it, even the gala is free. So I think this is really important in order to raise awareness, build alliances, and increase engagement. The virtual concert's really important. It kicks off our entire season. It's the Sunday, also celebrates Mother's Day, and it's really beautiful. My two girls are involved. It's really cute that we sing together. Yay. But I think mostly also it gathers Cheryl Burke and Daniel Day Kim, has a spot in it. I think everybody's coming together to just say enough is enough, and let's come together for a beautiful Sunday and for a good cause.
As you mentioned allies, for any businesses or organizations, why is it so important for them to take a stand during these challenging times, Maki?
So here's the thing is, like it or not, Asians are 60% of the world. If you include India, and we're not even including Persia, it's closer to 70%. Asian Hall of Fame actually looked at our definition of Asian. We saw that the U.S. Bureau definition of Asian is Asian. We also included the U.S. Bureau definition of Native and indigenous tribes. We expanded to Central Asia. Now we're taking a close look at West Asia. If you take a look at all of Asia, now we're close to even 80%. So just by looking at the scale for any business, it's really critical to take a look at the Asian population and the Asian demographic and what's important to them and how to keep them safe and how to keep them engaged with your brand or engaged with your mission and vision. The second thing is that Asians have contributed so much to the fabric of America. Asians have contributed in science, technology, and culture. And their contributions are not being celebrated. They're actually just being seen as, oh, well, you guys are perfect, so what's the point? I mean, I had a great conversation with a couple of PTA moms. And then one person said, hey, did you see that YouTube about that? We're really awesome. Guy was playing the violin. We're like, yeah, that's great. And then somebody said, oh, did you see that guy, like the black violins? And they're really great out of Detroit. So yeah, they overcame great odds. And I said, oh, did you see that great violin guy? She's like, out of China. And they're like, well, all Chinese play the violin.
Wow.
And I said, well, all Chinese play the piano.
Yeah, that's pretty stereotypical and offensive.
If all of us are perfect all the time, then the contributions are minimized.
Well, Maki, we really appreciate your time, especially because you're joining us from Taiwan. I know it's close to 1:30 a.m. there. Thank you again. Good luck on your event. We hope you come back and discuss more. It's such an important topic. Maki Hsieh, CEO of the Asian Hall of Fame.